If only I had a football to toss around, Donald Eng would stop singing Air Supply and we'd be tossing a football here in the room.
You can't prove that ever happened, Rob.
With Donald Eng, I'm Rob Adams. Welcome to Nutmeg Sports. Probably an Air Supply free edition as we get ready for a big football weekend coming up here. But happy Wednesday to you one and all as we jump across the hump of the work week. And Don, right off the bat, first of all, we'll spend a moment on what our game will be, and that is Friday evening at Ridgefield High School's Tiger Hollow, Lancaster Field, named after Stephen Lancaster. We will see the Ridgefield Tigers hosting the New Canaan Rams in the first game of the rest of the FCIAC season, as we saw West Hill and Bridgeport Central play this past weekend. But all that being said, we've got our tailgate show at 4, and then the pregame show, the FCIAC game day, coming up at 5, and then Chris Irway and I with the call at 7. So really an exciting night of football. We are set to go, looking forward to it. I think it's an interesting football game. Ridgefield coming off a very struggling year, a down year for them. New Canaan, of course, is New Canaan, state championship winner. Fell in the FCIAC championship game, Turkey Bowl, but it's New Canaan. It'll be good stuff this Friday, and I want to see what Ridgefield puts on the field.
Right. I mean, a school like Ridgefield, it's a tough opening night matchup. Particularly, you're bringing in a defending state champion, and as you said, New Canaan is New Canaan. Just a lot of size, a lot of athletes all over the field, and should be an exciting opening week matchup. We've
got a bunch of interviews for you, but Don and I spending this opening segment with you to kind of talk about the polls and get you kind of set for Friday as we are off and running at Ridgefield. One note I want to make sure we take care of is Jason Rose of Southington announcing where he will go to college. He'll announce that later this week.
Right. Jason Rose, big game last week. 6 touchdown passes as Southington defeated Manchester 54-9, and he's narrowed it down to Syracuse and UConn. So if you're a Husky fan out there, fingers crossed.
And for Syracuse, again, a football program that keeps sputtering to try to get it back together from what was once glory days for the Orange. So a guy like Jason Rose, who's been such a good quarterback at Southington and really runs that program so well. Be interesting to see what he decides on.
They broke my heart a couple of years ago. So Jason Rose, big decision coming up. We'll hear about that on Thursday.
So we've got a couple of polls to take a quick look at. The first one I've got right here, Don, is the Day of New London Top 10 Football Coaches poll as that one gets going. And Southington, no surprise, the number 1 team in the state.
They are a program. They just keep churning out these number 1 ranked teams. Southington looking for their 3rd straight Class Double L championship. And as of right now, probably you have to call them the odds-on favorite, them along with Darien.
Speaking of teams that are looking for a 3rd straight state title, the New Canaan Rams are the 2nd team in the state, followed by, stop me if you've heard it, the Darien Blue Wave in 3rd place. Then Notre Dame of West Haven, who played very well in their opening night win against Xavier, as well as Windsor in 5th. You've got Shelton, West Haven, Brookfield, Ansonia, and Newtown rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, Notre Dame and New Canaan probably looking like the class of Class L at this very moment. Notre Dame with that 34-0 beatdown of Fairfield Prep, and then New Canaan, right, as we said, making their debut this weekend at Tiger Hollow. I mean, you look at the polls right now and you think to yourself, wow, how about a Southington Darien double L final, maybe a New Canaan versus Windsor or Notre Dame final in Class L. Boy, we'll take that right now, wouldn't we?
And we noted the very subtle Mariano Rivera-esque save by Donald of me as we look over at the other poll, which is the Game Time CT Top 10 poll, and already some movement because Xavier has moved out and you've got the Westies moving in, as the headline says, but Southington, the number 1 team, followed by New Canaan and Darien. Then comes Windsor, Notre Dame of West Haven, Brookfield, Shelton, Newtown, Ansonia, and West Haven. And that's a media poll, Don,
right,
including our very own Mike Suppy votes in that one. And I believe, so does Bill Bloxham. That's right. So a couple of our guys vote in there as well. So good stuff to see a couple of Nutmeg Sports favorites right here.
Certainly. And of course, as always, Class Double L looks to be stacked with, I'm trying to think, Southington, Darien, Windsor, Shelton, Newtown, and West Haven. So 6 of the top 10 schools, as you would expect. 6 of the top 10 schools in the Game Time CT poll, Class L. We've got Brookfield in there as the lone Class M representative, and Ansonia, who also did not play this week, at 9, representing the Naugatuck Valley League. So, early in the season, sometimes we're still going off of potential. A little bit surprised to see Newtown cracking that top 10, but they had a big win over Pomperog last week. They're playing Notre Dame of Fairfield this weekend. So, big defensive effort from Newtown. And as always, we'll see what happens with them when they get to the playoffs.
And this list of voters is just dotted with people that have been on our show a bunch of times, from the Mary Albels of the world down to Pete Paguaga and some other folks, Sean Patrick Bowley, and again, people who have all been on this show at one time or another. So we love chatting with all of them. In any event, we are ready for the interviews. We'll line them up for you, and then we'll come back with some of our own stuff. But you're going to see a lot of interviews. We'll take a break in between, a few more interviews, then Don and I will say goodbye. So all that coming up right here on Nutmeg Sports. Let's get things started right now. All right, so how do we deal with this? Down the road, there's another football team. When we interviewed them, well, you see, they came up a little short in the state championship, but they won that other game played on Thanksgiving. These guys, on the other hand, go the opposite way. It's with the New Canaan football team, one of the best in the state with Dave Stewart. I'm Rob Adams. Let's let these guys introduce themselves.
I'm Cass Knox. I play linebacker.
I'm Michael Collins, play quarterback.
Gardner Reed to play center.
Mike Cognetta, DB.
Cass, I'll start with you. Obviously, you're not going to start the season on the field. At least we don't think so. But, kind of take me through where you are. Let's just go with that.
Right now, I'm about 2 months into a torn ACL injury, and I'm just taking it day by day, just trying to get better and maybe hopefully get back on the field one day and play with these guys.
By the way, a fellow New Yorker. Let's go over to Michael now. And I thought your play was so good last year. I watched you develop as a quarterback, saw you in your first game up at the Surf Club against Daniel Hand, and tell me how you think you progressed as a quarterback.
I think obviously whole year of varsity experience really helps you out. My teammates really picked me up throughout the whole year. Alex Lapalise, Jim Keneally, Gardner, Lucas, all those guys, they all really helped me, bring me along, and just get my feet wet really in the varsity experience. And now coming into my senior year, we all feel a lot more confident coming forward. So.
And it helps to have as balanced an attack as you do a good running game as well.
Yes, it really does.
Dave.
Yeah, Gardner, I feel like a lot of times the offense, you're talking about quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs, they all steal the thunder, but it really starts with the line. How do you feel you guys stack up this year?
This year we're looking pretty good. We got our star tackle, Lucas Niang. He's great. He's putting in a lot of hard work, and we've just been doing our best to get better over the summer, going to camps and lifting weights, and we're really excited to go into this year.
How much pride do you guys take when the offense does put up good numbers?
As a line, we're really happy about strong run games, and we just do our best to protect our quarterback. We love him, and he's great.
The Cognettas, obviously, there's a big name in New Canaan football the last few years, and just how do you feel like being part of that tradition? Both New Canaan football and with your family.
I feel pretty normal, but I guess it's a big name, so it's pretty cool, I guess.
Yeah. What do you foresee for this year? What's your take on this coming season?
I think we're gonna be great. We've got people coming back. We're experienced, and we're tough. We got big people. We got Lucas Niang, Gardner. Mm-hmm. So we got a lot of people coming back.
And the Canaan tradition keeps going on and on, right?
Cass, no point in asking you guys goals. We know the goals. FCIAC State, obviously, that's been the mission for a long time. But I think I know the answer to one of the games you're looking forward to besides Ridgefield, and maybe you're going to tell me a game at a time, but I have a feeling there's another team that wears red, white, and black that you're interested in seeing down the road.
I have no idea what you're talking about. we're just excited to play Ridgefield, and really looking forward to going down there September 18th.
We got a couple of games that we will see the Rams in, one of them being against Ridgefield on September 18th, this other game down in Greenwich, and another game against that blue team down to the south of here. These guys are great, one of the great football programs in this state. It's the New Canaan Rams. We thank them for their time on the HAN Network at New Canaan High School. We're joined by the head coach of the New Canaan football team as the HAN drone drops down right next to us with Dave Stewart. I'm Rob Adams. This is Coach Lou Marinelli. And, Coach, another year. Is it ever not exciting? It must be exciting every year.
Oh, every year it's a whole new cast of characters, a whole new feel, a whole new chemistry. You got to see how what your strengths are, your weaknesses are. It really never gets old. It's great.
Michael Collins, the last couple of years, he's shown so much growth. What have you seen from him this year that gives you hope for this year?
Well, I'll tell you, I've seen a lot of maturity on his part. He's recognized the defense is better. He's making good choices. He's really worked very, very hard in the offseason. And, he's not going to the University of Pennsylvania for nothing. I mean, he's really worked hard, and he's earned everything he's gotten. Just a dream to coach, and just a tremendous kid, one of our captains. You got to love him.
Coach, I can't remember a crazier off-season than this past one. Is it good to just finally get on the football field and start playing again?
I thought it would never get here, and then, because of whatever the dates or the CIAC, whatever reason, we've had to wait longer than we've ever had to wait to get back on the field. And yesterday was our first scrimmage, so it's been great getting back. So now that we're in season, it's good.
Obviously the game everybody's talking about, Johnny, playing your son Johnny at Greenwich High School. Tell me about that game and what that feeling is going to be like.
I don't know. We got a bunch of games before that. I'm more concerned about Ridgefield right now. But, everybody's kind of talking about that game on the 24th. I'd like to see us both undefeated at that point. It would make for even more of a, game for both of us. But, as far as personally, there'll be no winners that day in a Marinelli household. Win or lose. It's just, what are you going to say? But I just hope it's two good football teams, and that Marinelli thing doesn't overshadow, all those great athletes that are out there busting their rear ends trying to win for their school.
Over the years, too, the coaches you've had here, it's sad to see people go, but you told me one time that it was great. You want people like that want to move on and move up the ladder. So just how good is it to see former coaches going on and doing good things?
Oh, it's great. To have, especially, the guys that have been here and have worked so hard to help me get to where I've gotten, and then to see them go on and create their own programs. It's not easy for us to play against them, for sure. But it's great to see guys go on and doing a lot of the same things that we did here. So it's really very rewarding for me.
That's what happens when you do an interview during a football practice. Football comes flying in.
Comes flying into the live shot.
Probably a reminder to mention somebody.
I think that's got to be the perfect end to our interview here with Coach Marinelli. We're grateful to him. We'll see him a couple of times this season on the HAN Network. We thank him for his time. The great Coach Lou Marinelli. They have a very high standard of football here at Ridgefield High School, and the Tigers have big expectations coming into the 2015 season with Tim Murphy. I'm Rob Adams. Let's let the team introduce themselves.
Joe Arcieri,
Leo Grazaffi,
Dante Cobelli,
Jackson Turek,
AJ Fabry.
Coach, your thoughts as you get ready for taking over the top dog here at Ridgefield?
It's a great opportunity that I'm looking forward to. I've been with the program for 9 years now after graduating from Ridgefield. So to be able to be in this position is just something I've looked forward to for a really long time, and trying to do the best I can for the kids.
Leo, as I mentioned at the top, high standards here at Ridgefield, and I would imagine big expectations this year.
Our coaches this year set a really high standard on us. From last year, we've just been trying to follow the standard all the time and just keep working hard and, just try to come up with the best product on the field this year. So,
Murph, over to you.
Jackson, you can't see it, but he has a broken foot and sidelined for the season, a tough blow. How are you going to make that into a positive for the team? Are you going to be an extra strong leader?
Despite the fact that I'm injured and I won't be able to play, I'm still going to be with the team, and I'm still going to be contributing as much as I can to our success, no matter if that's leading or doing all the small things to make everyone else better.
And Dante is one of the captains. What is your goal for the season?
Every season we set the same goal, to make the FCIAC championship and to make the state championship, and we're on a pretty good track right now. Everyone thinks football is a one-season sport, but here at Ridgefield, a
around the year, we're doing everything we can. We're lifting, we're running, we're practicing, we're training. If we just keep those standards up, like you were talking about before, we should see good success.
AJ coming off a tough year last year, I guess extra motivation to turn things around.
Yeah, but we understand that the past is in the past, and we're kind of focusing on the present and the season to come. So it has been a bit of a rallying cry this off season in the winter, and thus far in the preseason this summer. We've been working hard because we know that we need to be better than we were last year, but we know that working hard doesn't equal success, and we got to get out there on the field and prove ourselves.
And a tough opener, Rob, against New Canaan, so we'll find out some stuff right off the bat.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Murph, because we'll be here for that opener on September 18th, right down the hill from where we're standing, and many say, and I'm among those, this is one of the finest facilities in the FCIAC, so we're excited to come out and watch these Tigers as they get going with the coach in his first game as head coach here. An exciting season coming up for these Tigers. The football team with us on the HAN network at Ridgefield High School.
When you experience a sports injury, you want to get better and fast. Coastal Ortho Express gives you direct access to orthopedic care quickly. Their physicians are fellowship trained in sports medicine at world-class universities and are also team doctors for area football teams. For specialized personal care of sports injuries, go to Coastal Ortho Express. Open Monday through Saturday in the iPark building, 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk, or coastalorthoexpress.com. Coastal Orthopedics, keeping you on the move.
The HAN Network is the place for live video streaming play-by-play. Our schedule of broadcasts this week include girls soccer. Tuesday at 4 as New Canaan visits McMahon, and Thursday at 5 as Greenwich hosts Wilton in boys soccer. Then on Friday, New Canaan travels to Ridgefield for football at 7 p.m. Our coverage begins with FCIAC Tailgate at 4, followed by FCIAC Game Day at 5, leading up to kickoff at Tiger Hollow. If you miss any of the action, all of the games are available on demand at FCIAC.net. We're your home for live play-by-play. The HAN Network. Joined by the defending FCIAC football champions, the Darien Blue Wave at Darien High School. I'm Rob Adams. They're all here. Well, not the entire team, but you get the idea. I'm going to let them introduce themselves, starting with the quarterback down to my left.
Timmy Graham, quarterback, senior.
I'm Colin Minikis, wide receiver, senior.
I'm Hudson Hamill. I'm a safety and slot receiver, senior.
Bobby Trafone, senior, wide receiver and corner. Christian Trafone, senior, running back and safety.
Mark Ivanchik, senior, defensive end.
All right, guys. Timmy, I'll start with you. We were talking about it before we came on last year, and I said this in all sincerity, one of the best football games I've ever had the chance to be a broadcaster on, and I know you guys all probably feel that same way. Down right before the half, a big score, and I was telling you in the booth, we were looking at each other going, what are we going to talk about in the second half? You guys made my job a lot easier.
Yeah, that score right before halftime was a big momentum setter, going into halftime down 21-7. It's a lot easier to come back than 21-0. Then the defense just absolutely stepped it up in the second half and got us the ball back, and we scored some big touchdowns towards the end.
Colin, I'm taking a look around at the team today, and my colleague, our director, Eric Gendron, and I are going, you guys have just seem to have everybody back. You look like you're really one of the top teams coming into this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think we returned a lot of players, but we also lost a lot. Will Hammernick, Griffin Ross, Todd Herget, Peter Archie, everybody on the skill side of the ball. But, I mean, we're very confident in our returners, and I think there's a lot of momentum coming into the season as well.
Hudson, one thing I noticed from you was how multidimensional you were, how dangerous you could be. What do you look to improve upon this year?
I think we definitely worked hard in the offseason, put on weight, trying to be more physical, the defensive presence in the run game for sure. And we've been working on blocking a lot for the skill players outside. That'll help our downfield plays a lot.
As I turn around to this side and I bring in some of the guys over here, defensively, so strong last year. Again, kind of the same thing I asked Hudson. How do you improve on what you did last year?
I mean, we're looking to improve everywhere, even the defense. Obviously, we return our entire secondary, but we're looking to improve where the middle linebackers are, line. Obviously, on the offensive side of the ball, we're looking to do well this year.
The schedule is loaded. You guys are right there at the top. There's this other team that starts with an N. I don't dare mention them, but you guys will be ready for them on Thanksgiving Day. That's one of 2 games we'll have here on the HAN Network.
Yes, sir. We'll be ready for that. Don't worry. We've been doing a lot in the off season, getting together, getting our communication set, just working on getting the whole, mesh going together with our defense. So I think we're ready.
Mark, I'll finish up with you. We talked to you at the lacrosse championships, and congratulations on that once again. But at the same time, again, thinking about the schedule, thinking about how good the FCIAC is, and you guys, to me right now, look as good as anybody in the conference. How do you not kind of fall back on going, oh, we're so good, we'll just, how do you stay focused coming into this year?
Well, if you look at last year, we started off against Hill House, and we kind of had that air that we didn't have to play and we could win on talent alone. I think this year we're learning off of that, and we're going to come in with a more of a worker mentality. And not that we didn't work last year. I think we're going to be more prepared to kind of come out of the gates firing week 1.
We saw them a bunch of times on the HAN radio side last year. Here on the HAN network this year, we'll see them a couple of times, once against Greenwich and once against that red team just to the north. So we'll see them. They're as good as anybody in the league. The question is, who's going to knock these guys off? We thank them all for their time. It's the Darien High School varsity football team on the HAN network at Darien High School. With the head coach of the Blue Wave football team, I'm Rob Adams. He's another Rob Trefone. Coach, long time here now, 11 years, defending FCIAC champion. And, I talked to a bunch of you guys before, a lot of guys coming back, but there's always turnover.
Right, and the greatest turnover is in our defensive line, where we've lost 3 out of 4, all 3 big boys, playing at the next level. We do return Ivanchek, and obviously we've got juniors and seniors that are trying to fill some big shoes.
How do you feel to put all the, kind of off the field postseason stuff, because there was so much chatter going on in the off season regarding the championship and all this other stuff? It's probably good to just get back to being on the field.
Yeah, absolutely. This particular group of seniors really looking forward to this season. And again, you talked about the chatter in the off season and losing the state, championship by a point. I think it helped, fuel their off season.
That championship game, since you brought it up, is there a sting to that? Does it carry? Does it motivate, or is it just you turn the page on it?
There's a sting. Yeah. Look, anytime Darien plays New Canaan, and you come on the short end, you ask Lou Marinelli, there's a sting. So, for our kids, it was a tough sting, and of course for them, it was a sting on the Thanksgiving Day. But again, I think it was a major motivator in the off season.
Let's go back to that Thanksgiving Day game. I told Timmy Graham before, it's among the best games I've ever had the chance to watch or be a part of. And all that said, what came together? Down late first half, it seems like the game is in rough shape, but you guys make a great comeback. What changed?
I don't know that anything changed other than settling down and making a couple of adjustments that they had heard us on early, with their offense. And, of course, down 21-7 at half, we went in, to the locker room, and I could tell that this team was ready to come back. Now, whether it happens or not is another thing, because they're kids, but, there was certainly an air of confidence in the locker room.
We'll see you on the field this year. Looking forward to it. It's going to be an exciting year.
Yeah, thank you very much, Rob.
Coach Rob Trefone with me. He's here on the HAN Network at Darien High School. In each group I've interviewed here at Greenwich High School, we've talked about tradition, we've talked about excellence. This program, Greenwich Varsity Football, stands right there among them all, not only here, not only in the FCIAC, but in the state. One of the great programs, tradition and excellence that stretches back from Mike Ornato with Steve Young and his brothers, right on through to Richie Albanizio with John Sullivan and their championship years. And now these guys under first-year head coach John Marinelli. Will let these guys introduce themselves starting down here.
Ian Bannon.
Scooter Harrington.
Luke Beanstalk.
Kevin Woodring.
By the way, 3 of the 4 guys all had brothers that I've broadcast at one time or another. We'll start with Sean's brother, Ian, who also is a golfer, and you play with Coach Joff in bowling. How about that?
It's a blast. Golf is actually one of my favorite sports, even though football is up there too. And bowling with Coach Joff can't be any more fun.
Wayne Joffrey, really good guy, still an assistant here, and has run a state championship winning bowling team, in fact. And Scooter, you've become a great target. Even as a freshman, you were just dominant. Let's talk about your plans going into this year and what the Cardinal expectations are.
We're really just trying to get a lot better every day and get ready for Trinity Catholic September 18th. Should be a really good game, and our underclassmen are working really hard to prepare themselves, and we are too, so it should be fun.
Now, I know the answers, having talked to Coach Al and to Coach Marinelli as well. This is a one-game-at-a-time program, without a doubt. We speak to Luke now, and watching you run the ball this year, it's going to be a big deal getting the Cardinal offense going. What do you see offensively for this group?
I think we're really deep. When it comes to running backs, we have a bunch of guys there. We have a really skilled receiving core. And, we have just a really talented offense. What Coach Marinelli is going to do with it, I think, will be fun to watch. And I can't wait to play our first game.
How about, I know you're an All-American in rugby. How about playing rugby here at Greenwich? I mean, again, water polo, rugby, 2 unique sports to the FCIAC, but you guys have one of the best programs, not only in the state, but in the country.
Yeah, we finished 6th in the country last year, and the coaching there is great. We're looking to have a really good season again this year. I just really can't wait to get back on the pitch.
Kevin, over to you. I know you play both sides of the line, but defense at Cardinal Stadium has always been a big deal. You guys have prided yourself on keeping that number low on the other side of the scoreboard. I don't want you to give me the playbook, but give me an idea of what we can expect to see from the Cardinals on D.
Really what we're just trying to do is work really hard on defense, get to the ball. That's our main objective, make sure every man's to the ball. And we're just really working hard and just preparing for September 18th, which is what we're trying to focus on right now. And that's our most important part of what we're trying to do with our program right now.
You can see Eric wearing a Greenwich Cannons pullover, a baseball player as well. We'll see you on the baseball field again. Cardinals were pretty good on the baseball field, hoping for big things out of them this year. But football-wise, we've got them a couple of times this year. They will be with us against Darien. They don't want to talk about it. I'll just mention they're going to play a team that also wears red, white, and black from another part of the county, in which it's a coach versus coach, and that's all you need to know. Check the schedule. You'll figure out what I'm talking about. They've got a great rivalry against Staples on Thanksgiving Day as well. We'll see them a handful of times, and it's exciting. And this one for me, quite honestly, as I said to A.J. Simonowski, this was the easiest and toughest interview for me because I broadcast these guys for almost 15 years here, so it's an honor to talk with the Greenwich football program. The great Cardinals with us on the HAN Network. Big Red at Greenwich High School. Happy to be joined by the new head coach here at Greenwich High School, John Marinelli. I'm Rob Adams. John, I've interviewed you before. Congratulations on being here at Greenwich, and I know what the tradition of this program means to you, and it's an exciting time for Greenwich football, and it's an exciting time for you as well. How has practice gone so far?
It's gone well. I think they're still learning about me, and I'm still learning about them, so it's a transition period. Every practice is a little bit different from what they're used to, and every day is a little bit different. Trying to throw new things at them. So their football IQ is pretty high, so it's been an easier transition, but a transition nonetheless.
Expectations have always been high in this town, going back through Coach Ornato, through Coach Albanese, now to you. And one thing you've done is you have really absorbed this town. You've worked your way all around. How accepting has the town been? How's it been for you so far?
Well, I'm still haven't had a loss yet, so everyone's really happy. I mean, everyone's been great. It's very supportive. The community is fantastic, and the more I'm out there in the community, the more support I see, and I'm so grateful to be in a place like Greenwich, and I just hope to be able to make them all proud.
You've got a great feeder program in town with the GYFL. I'm sure you and your coaches are keeping an eye on the future. Obviously, you're focusing on the right now, but just spend a moment on the GYFL and what it means to Cardinal football.
Everything. And the funny part is everyone from outside of Greenwich thinks that it's broken. And if you have to be inside Greenwich to understand how well-oiled machine this thing is. I mean, it is an incredible program, one of the best I've seen, youth programs that I've seen. I've been around, and it really is incredible. Frank Sarcone, the GYFL president, does such a great job. And I'm excited to get out there, see some of the practices, meet the kids, but it means a lot, and just to get the kids to understand basic fundamentals, to get them lined up, to make football fun again, and obviously to keep ours and Brunswick's numbers high is something that's very important to us. So,
the GYFL, the Grant Youth Football League, plays one of the great days of football around. Their championship Sunday right here at Cardinal Stadium right before Thanksgiving is always fun to watch. And you mentioned Brunswick. You and Coach Jared Shine put together a scrimmage, and you kind of are, not that the relationship needed to be fixed between the two schools, but you've regrouped them and got them back together, and that it seems to be great. How did it work in the scrimmage?
It worked well. I mean, these kids know each other, a lot of them, and Brunswick is able to have kids from outside of the town, but it worked really well. And you have two championship caliber teams in this town, and this town should be proud of it and not trying to fight one side or the other. So to bring us together, especially in regards to the youth football, and to make it one big family and not two separate, is something that Jared and I talked in length about, and our plan is coming through right now. So we're hoping for the relationship to continue to build and to work with each other in the future.
We'll deal with the other red, white, and black team when we see you in a couple of weeks. We'll deal with that then. I talked to your dad the other day, but regardless of that, do you have any idea, any feeling for what your emotions are going to be like when you go up against Trinity Catholic? Because that's game one.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's Donnie does such a great job there, and now with Coach Albanizio on their staff and Coach Cairo, it really solidifies what they're all about. And so, I mean, emotionally for me, I'm just going to treat it like another game. Our kids are going to treat it like another game. I know for them it's probably a little bit more meaningful, but I think as a coach you have a responsibility to your kids to not be high or too low on any given week, whether you're playing the New York Giants or anybody. So I don't know. I haven't really thought about it. I'm just gearing away every day in practice right now. Talk to me on September 17th, and it might be different, but yeah, we'll see what happens.
You got a deal there. He's going to have a great team this year. I'm really confident in these Cardinals, and we wish him and the Cardinals a lot of luck. The varsity football coach, John Marinelli, with us here on the HAN Network at Greenwich High School.
So, a busy week of football. For us, it gets started Friday at 4 o'clock at Ridgefield High School with the FCIAC Tailgate Show, as well as the FCIAC Game Day Show, which is at 5. Then the play-by-play of Ridgefield and New Canaan Friday night at 7 at Tiger Hollow. And I know, are you making it to Tiger Hollow this week?
I will not be there this week. I've got an event in the Valley. We call it an 8th birthday party.
That's correct. Okay, but we will see you down the road for some football. So Don will be around with us as well, but we thank you for joining us, and that'll do it for Nutmeg Sports. Again, busy Friday coming up. We'll have all the football for you. We'll keep an eye on all the games. We will be your home for live football play-by-play and a lot more throughout this fall. So thanks for watching Nutmeg Sports. Again, we will see you Monday for Nutmeg Sports, but we'll see you for Friday for a lot of football. For AJ Simonowski, Donald Eng, I'm Rob Adams. Enjoy your Wednesday, and we'll talk to you tomorrow for soccer right here on the HAN Network. So long, everyone.